Australia's commitment to its soldiers in Afghanistan has been questioned by those on the front line. One soldier says troops have been let down by the army. In an email, he refers to a recent battle in which his mate died and others were left short of ammunition as they fought for their lives. The military's top brass and the government have strenuously rejected the allegations. But there are now calls to double Australia's 1,500-strong force to provide enough manpower to win the war. Stephanie Kennedy reports from Canberra.
It was this battle that claimed the life of Lance Corporal Jared McKinney.
Hold it. These guys got a gunshot wound.
The 28-year-old was killed during the fierce firefight that lasted 3 hours with Taliban insurgents last month. The Australian and Afghan soldiers were outnumbered by 2 to 1. The Lance Corporal died early in the battle and his mates gave him an emotional send-off.
It was an honour to have known you, an honour to have served and fought with you, and an honour to have you as a mate. Rest in peace.
Now one of the soldiers who fought alongside Jared McKinney has broken ranks. In a scathing email, he says his mate would still be alive if they'd had enough air and artillery support, better intelligence and more troops on the ground. The army has let us down and I am disgusted. And he says everyone is too scared about collateral damage. That contact would have been over before Jared died if they'd had mortars.
It's really quite disappointing that the Australians ended up having to withdraw because their ammunition was running low. Because there weren't enough of them there, and also their fire support, particularly the air support, was reasonably inadequate.
And the frontline digger says it was a miracle that 5 or 6 more Australian soldiers weren't killed. The soldiers' plea for more support has the backing of a former operational commander in Iraq.
My view is we've got to at least double the number of troops we've got there. You can't do wars softly and gently, you can't do wars on the cheap, and you can't do wars not to win.
Stung by the criticism, the army went on the defence.
The allegations made in the Australian media that the MTF did not have the required support for this engagement are wrong and ill-informed and, quite frankly, not helpful.
And he strongly supports the strategy of the operation on that day.
I'm quite comfortable with what happened. It is a tactical battle. It's a tactical fight. It's not helpful when armchair generals or anyone else talk about what should be done.
The army is confident it has enough soldiers for the job in Afghanistan, but questions over troop numbers and firepower are a political issue as much as a military one, and increasing either is a minefield for the nation's leaders.
In the last couple of years, we've increased our contribution from 1,100 to 1,550. The advice that we have from the Chief of the Defence Force, the advice which my predecessor had, was that contribution is sufficient to achieve and appropriate to achieve our objective.
The opposition agrees, but says this email is alarming.
I want these allegations answered. This is low ammunition. Here we are fighting for our lives for 3 hours and we're running low on ammunition. I just don't get it.
And neither does Jared McKinney's grieving family and friends. Stephanie Kennedy, Late Line.